Well, first of all, the year is almost over. Um, what would you say has it been like for GA?
Thank you very much. The year has been challenging, most especially because of this COVID-19 case. We're not able to do a lot of our programs, and the year started good. We had few sponsorship, and we were able to do our first competition at the Sipon Sports Stadium. We were planning to continue with our programs within the year, but COVID came, and we had to abide by government rules and regulation in terms of COVID protocols. And thankfully, the year is also ending well because we've started a lot of courses. Currently, there's one ongoing course at Damongo to train the newly created regions, coaches in all the new created regions. So I would say it was interesting year. The beginning was good. The middle and the larger part of the year wasn't too good, but the ending looked very good too. So it's a mixed year, ending good, starting good, but the larger part of it wasn't too good.
Looking forward to 2021, what are the available opportunities and what are some of the challenges you think GA is likely to encounter?
Going into 2021, we have already planned a lot of programs, both within Africa, West Africa, Ghana, and the world at large. In Ghana, we are currently doing coaching and official call that will run into 2021 up to November. In between those courses, we will be doing high-profile competitions. We will do ECOWA Championship in Kaduna. There will be African cross country in Lomé, Togo. There will be African Championship in Algeria, Algiers. We also continue to do our circuit championship, and if we get money, then we'll do full-blown national championship at least before the Olympic Games. So these are all programs that we will be engaging in come 2021. In terms of funding, the courses, we've gotten funding for all the courses that we're running from this December to next November. We are still looking for funding for the competition and for the travel. And we are just hoping that the state will come and support us whenever we are going, especially with the African cross country in Lomé and the African Championship in Algiers, Algeria. And Olympics, we are also hoping to get money to able to support our foreign-based athletes for those who are at the threshold of qualifying. Janet Amponsa, Ho Haluti, Deborah Aqua, John Ampuma, and a host of others are just at the threshold of qualifying. What they need for them is to just to support them financially for them to be able to continue training to compete in the European circuit so that they'll be able to qualify. Those who have also qualified, Nadia Eke and Joseph Paul Amwa, we have to send them to European camping so that they will be in Europe and continue training and competing till the time they go to the Olympic Games. If we are able to do all these things, I think Ghana at the Olympics will be a very good spectacle for people to see. And in African stage, Ghana has already been winning medals at the African stage, so we want to maintain and improve that in Algiers. In West Africa, we are forced to reckon with in West Africa at the Kaduna Championship. The novelty is that for a very long time, I can't remember the last time Ghana participated in Africa cross country. This time around, we are going to participate in Africa cross country in Togo Lomé, both men and women. So that will be in March. So in February, we'll do a national cross country trials to select a national team to represent Ghana in Togo at the African cross country championship. So in short, this is what the 2021 looks like in terms of athletics.
You talked about um, the Olympic Games. Earlier when we spoke, you had mentioned that GA had plans of organizing one more competition to get them ready for the qualifiers. Um, what is the stage of those plans that you had?
No, we still have those plans to support them to qualify. Unfortunately, the qualification started first of this month in December, and to end on 30th June 2021. But we're thinking that the American will start their indoor championship in December, so I'm able to support them to go and do a lot of indoors competition in America and Europe. And unfortunately, even the World Indoor Championship in China has been rescheduled to 2024. So the indoor competitions are not forthcoming. So we just have to wait for them to come to outdoor. Then we'll support them to go into the qualifiers. At the local scene, we're planning to do one local championship, but we look at it and say, at what benefit will it be organizing championship now when the indoors has not yet even started? So we decided to push it to first quarter of next year, so that they'll have the competition 1 or 2 before they go into the Kaduna Championship, before they go into the African cross country in Lome. That's why I earlier indicated that we will do national trial for the cross country selection to the African cross country in Lome, Togo. We don't want to do handpicking. And there's a vast difference between half marathon and cross country. This one, they were going purely on cross, so we need to pick quality athletes based on their performance. So we give all athletes in Ghana, especially the long distance athletes in Ghana, the opportunity to come and justify their selection into the team. We'll be selecting 6 boys, 6 men and 6 women, and 6 of them will run and 4 will score to the African Championship in Lome. And in terms of the actual competitions, we'll be starting at the end of February to March, so that we'll be able to have a team that will go and represent Ghana at the Kaduna Championship in Nigeria and All African Championship in Algeria. After the Olympic Games, is by performance, is by qualifications. As I indicated some time ago, that the qualification to the Olympic Games is now in 2 folds. You can either qualify by ranking or qualify by performance. Qualify by performance is the best way and the surest way to qualify. If you want to wait for qualifying by rank, unless of course the 30th June mark date had expired, and the World Athletic will now go to rank athlete to see who will fall within certain categories of athletes. For instance, in the 400 or 200 or 100 meters, they have a certain number of athletes that they are looking for. Maybe if they are looking for 54 athletes to run the 100 meters at the Olympic Games, and at the end of the qualifying period, only 34 or 30 or 40 athletes have actually made that mark. The rest of the 14 will be based on the ranking. They will remove all those who have qualified, and they will start to rank the rest from first to the 14th athlete, and they'll add them to those who have qualified. So in that score, we can still find other people to qualify, but that one will be after the June 30th, and we don't want to go through the rankings to qualify by ranking. We want our athletes to qualify by performance, so that when they go to the competition, they should be able to perform and perform creditably for Ghana to be proud of them.
How soon would athletes be back competing?
As soon as February. As soon as February 2021. We'll still carry on, we'll still continue with the courses from now we are currently in Savannah. We'll do Bono East and Bono in January, and we'll do Ahafo and Western North in February. Then we'll pause for the courses, then we'll go into the competitions, and we'll come back to the courses again after June.
Considering the crop of athletes we have, you had mentioned about Hong Haluti. Many people haven't heard about him in a long while. What's up with
They are doing well. They are doing well in school. She's currently on holidays. They are doing well in school. They are doing their individual training in US. We are monitoring them. Because the COVID-19 and COVID-19 protocols, that's why a lot of the United States American schools are not even doing the indoors. Because the indoors, it's even easier to contract the disease when you are in the indoor facilities. So most schools in the US have not done their indoors, and some of them just outrightly canceled the indoors. So that's why you've not heard about her. When she went, she didn't have opportunity to compete fully. She just went a month or less than a month, and the COVID came. So she has been training, and she's looking forward to compete for her school and for her country in in the coming months.
Let's talk about funding. You have spoken about how funding was going to be very difficult for federations, especially the GAA. Even when there was no COVID, it was difficult. We also talked about post-elections, politicians will need time to settle before they can support. Talk to us about funding. What are some of the measures being put in place to secure funding as early as February for competitions?
This is a pretty tough, but our programs, we have what we normally call the RWF grant. Sometimes if we do not get funding enough or early enough to start our programs, we really fall on the grant to use this to do at least our first competition, and that would be sufficient for us to do one competition and to do the cross-country trials in February. But going into March and April, May, June, July, August, we really need to get a sponsorship. We really need the state to come and support us. We are currently working on some few sponsors that we are praying that maybe by February, March, the deal should go through. If it doesn't go through, that will be where our problems will start. But if it doesn't go through, then we have only one option left. That will be the government to come and support us. If the government too is not coming forth, that will be a huge challenge for us to go into the Olympic Games, the African Championships, and the African cross country. But nonetheless, we are hopeful that we'll get sponsorship. We've made some few contacts, and we are following up on those contacts. We are just praying that at least one or two of them will come through, so that Ghanaian athletes will have the opportunity to train, to compete, and to go and represent Ghana at the international competition. As for the government coming into play, I sincerely pray that the government machinery should start operating as soon as possible. If not, that it's going to be an Herculean tax.
You talked about relying on the World Athletics grant to help you organize your competitions. One would ask, how much is it and how much am I supposed to top up so that you can organize more competitions?
Now the grant is 15,000. The 15,000 US dollars they give us every year. They will use that 15,000 to pay for our annual dues. We use the 15,000 to run the office. So normally we have percentage that we set aside to run the office, and if we don't get sponsorship, then we use a large chunk of it to organize the first competition, so that the athletes will not have to train up to third month or fourth month in a year without getting the competition. The money is not much. That's why sometimes we do a circuit and we need to reduce the numbers. If the money is not much for us to have at least 40 for each region, then we reduce it to 20 per region, or sometimes 15. And some of the regions like Ashanti region, we never give them 40 or 30 or in between that. And other regions, depending upon their last performance in our competition, we give them 20, 25, we give them 15. So in all, you're getting between 250 to 300 athletes per circuit. But if it's national championship, we give across board 40 athletes each. And the national championship sometimes is so expensive. You need not less than 50,000 US dollars to be able to organize a 4-day full national championship. If you are giving each region 40 athletes times 16, you can imagine the numbers, and the feeding, the accommodation, the transportation. Not them alone, they will come with coaches, at least 3 coaches per each. And you have about 100 officials, and you have people to clean the stadium, people to, they will call them groundmen to come and work. So in all, before you do wholly national championship, you are looking at 600 to 700 people that you will accommodating, you will feeding, you will transporting, and you will take the protocols too. So if we cannot do that thing at this moment, we will necessarily have to do the circuit championship for the athletes to be able to continue training and competing in anticipation of representing Ghana at those international competitions I mentioned earlier.
That's a very huge task for GA in terms of developing talents. But recently, one of your talents graduated, Matabisa. First of all, what are the words of the GA to her as she graduated with the BSc in management?
Yeah, we wish her, we congratulate her, and we wish her well. We always wish her well, and we always have good faith in her. We always knew she had the potential there to complete the school and to continue with her sports career. So, Matabita, if you listen to me, congratulations, and Ghana is proud of you.
Tell us, she granted an interview to Joy Sports where she said that she's ever willing to run for Mother Ghana, but she wants Ghana to appreciate its athletes.
Ghana always appreciate athletes. Ghana always appreciate athletes. Whatever one does for Ghana, the state always appreciates it. That's why her name is always being mentioned. That's why when she won the competition at the Nigerian, which I led the team to that championship, the then President John Mama gave her the 10,000, and everybody appreciates her. We do also appreciate her contribution. What people don't understand is that what she achieved, it is in my CV. It's a good thing that I was part of that success. So it is in my CV. So it will be in the interest of everybody in Ghana to see every single potential athlete to develop and to be able to win medals for Ghana, not only Matabese alone. All Ghanaian athletes deserve to be appreciated.
Is GA open to having her still compete under the umbrella of GA?
Why not? Is she not a Ghanaian athlete? We still have her. Anytime at all we prepare our annual rankings, her name is always there. When the athletes see her in their competitions in US, they always have chat with her. Nobody from here. Prof. Andrew keep once in a while contact her. They discuss issues. As far as we are concerned, she's a Ghanaian athlete.
And she will always run for Ghana?
She will run for Ghana, whatever she will run for Ghana if that misunderstanding, she helped clear that misunderstanding.
Okay, this brings us to the point where the GA is demanding for an apology from her before she runs under the umbrella of the GA. But so many of us out there don't understand why GA would demand for an apology from an athlete before she will run. People will say that GA is just being petty.
No, we're not being petty. If an athlete goes to allege that the federation is demanding money for her, and the federation asks, every wrestling woman will ask, who asks you for that money? Come substantiate that allegation. If you think what you said wasn't right, simple "I'm sorry" will end the whole matter. Imagine that allegation is still hanging on the federation, and the federation executive goes for a higher interview at a place, maybe some other place, and that issue comes out. Why were you taking bribe from an athlete to give me a scholarship? How will you answer? Will you say it is not true? Why should it is not true? Because the person who alleged that have never come out to say whether it is true or it is not true. So the thing will still be hanging. And why will you bite the finger that fits you? Everybody has an ego. Everybody has a dignity to protect. Those that the allegation were put on them, don't they have dignity? Don't they have integrity? Or they don't have feelings? Simple say, "I'm sorry," or come and substantiate that allegation that has taken someone 5 years.
What is GA doing to resolve this matter?
We have given her the opportunity to say the sorry. We have had engagement with the Ministry of Youth and Sports on that one. We have engagement on NEC on that one several years ago. We have always made our stand very clear that either say sorry or substantiate. And I don't know why Ghanaian media always put the blame on GA. Why is it difficult for her to say sorry? Why is it difficult for her to just come and say, I didn't say it well, so I'm sorry. Or if this man ABC has asked me to pay that money, why is it difficult for her to do that? And you generally you don't ask her why you don't want to say sorry. Rather putting the blame on the association. Somebody who have alleged that we have been doing wrong things. And in any case, we sent more than 50 athletes to US. Among them, did we ever ask anybody to pay money? And why should she alone that be asked to pay money? And who has even verified that? And we don't want that thing to hang on the association. We don't want that thing to hang on the members of the association. Everybody has integrity to protect. Everybody has a family that she doesn't want those things to get to the family. Everybody has ego. But the federation is bigger than all of us in the federation. Nobody dislikes her.
You have an ethics committee. What is the ethics committee doing about it?
Yes, we have referred the case to the ethics committee. So whatever the decision at the ethics committee comes out to say, the association will have to abide by it. So we are waiting for the ethics committee. I know they have made some little contracts with Ambassador Lutrot to get Matabisa. So they went to talk to Matabisa and talk to Ambassador Lutrot too and see how they can, what decision they can come out with. I'm aware they are. I don't know how far the work, how far they've gone with the work, but I'm fully aware that they've started the work. I don't know how far. So we are waiting for the ethics committee to meet her and see what the best way for them to resolve this issue. But where we stand is where we stand.
You see, you mentioned that GAA have supported about more than 50 athletes to go out there for scholarship. You've never asked anyone to give money. Did GAA give Matabita the scholarship she's currently having in the States?
No. The scholarship she had just graduated from the school. It's not from the GAA. What we did for her in that scholarship was that the school wrote to GAA trying to verify certain information that they've gotten. I don't know, maybe through the internet or through their research, because NCCA always does underground back checks of all Ghanaian athletes who goes there. So they wrote to the GAA asking whether can we confirm whether Matabisa has a manager or whether she has ever received prize money. And having a manager means a professional athlete, and a professional athlete doesn't go to US on strength athlete scholarship. So what we did was that the association wrote back to the school and told the school that no, the kind of managers that you've read on Matabisa issue on Google or on Facebook, it is not the actual type of managers you have in Europe or in America. In Ghana, any guardians can be called a manager, or a family member who is supporting her can be called a manager. So all those things they've seen they've seen and read on the net are not actual managers, they are just her guardians. And the prize money that she has gotten is you were donated, the prize money was donated to the family members. And that's why she was glad. Because if we didn't, even in the thick of that issue, in the thick of that controversy, this issue came. If GA didn't like her or didn't want her to progress, they were just, oh yes, she has a manager. And that would have been and that would have been all. Because the American institution will believe whatever the GA said than whatever any other person will say. But to what end would it benefit GA?
Why did GA not give her the scholarship to go?
She refused for the GA scholarship. She categorically refused to take GA scholarship. As soon as she came back from Nigeria, when she competed in Botswana in 2003, Professor Dudu started working on her, 2013, working on her for the scholarship, unsolicited. Because she did 204 or thereabout, and that one was enough to have gotten her a scholarship for community schools in US. So as soon as she won the gold medal in Nigeria, the scholarship was ready. And executive of GA spoke to her several times. She said she wasn't interested in the scholarship. She was going to go to police service. That is why she rejected the GA scholarship.
And having rejected the GA scholarship, the president also went to announce that there was a scholarship for her. So
Yes.
definitely that scholarship should have come back and then given to her. Or?
No. It was the same scholarship. You see, when the president speaks upon advice from the ministry, and the ministry also got advice from the GA. So the ministry was advised that the GA has secured a scholarship for her. By the time the president made that statement, I'm not sure the presidency knew that she had rejected that scholarship. And it was the same scholarship that the president mentioned. The one the GA was offering her, it was the same scholarship that the President Mahama mentioned in his State of the Nation address in 2015. It was no different scholarship. So that was why all this controversy came from. Maybe she didn't know it was the same scholarship. If she knew it was the same scholarship, she would have come back to clear the air. But a lot of Ghanaians thought that what the government was, what the president announced in Parliament was different from what the GA was giving her. And it was the same thing. It was no different.
Did GA take her money and that of her family?
Money for what? Take whose money? One cardinal principle of this administration is that we don't even keep athletes' money. Even when there's money from GOC to be given to athletes, we write to the GOC and the GOC to send the money direct into the athletes' accounts. If athletes take money from the RWF, we write to the RWF now, World Athletics, to send the money direct to athletes' account. We don't take athletes' money. For what? We rather have to find money for athletes. When they came from Nigeria, Professor Dodo asked her to come and sleep in his house. Professor Dodo asked his own daughter to vacate her room and give the room to Martha to sleep in. Professor Dodo took her daughter's PC and gave it to Martha to study and go to school. Do you think someone who doesn't like you will give you all those things? Someone who doesn't like you will ask his daughter to leave her room for you to come and stay in. GA don't take athletes' money.
Her mother said you had taken their money and that she got a plethora of stories surrounding that with her.
What money? When the president gave them the money, they gave the money to Richard Akokovi, now the Secretary General of GOC. They went to Afrikiko to eat, and Prof has stayed back at the Flafter House. Then was the Flafter House then. So they were waiting for him to come at the Afrikiko to join them so that they'll have the meals. So they were waiting now when Prof came, and the woman asked for the money. That one, I wasn't there that one, so I can't give the first-hand information at that place because I wasn't there. But what I heard was that Prof asked her to keep some of the money in bank so that when the girl is going to school, they can use it as a pocket money. And this advice Prof give to every single athlete who is going to US. Every single person athlete going to US, Prof always advised them to save their money. So it wasn't a unique advice to only Martha. It's all athletes. You can interview almost all the athletes and ask them what Prof advised them on their money issues. So nobody was interested. Even that time, her $3,000 something was with Prof. If Prof wanted to take her money, why would Prof give her that money the president gave her? Prof gave her the money. How much is 10,000? Or how much is 7,000? Prof can take you $22,000 one night and buy tickets for athletes. And how much will 7,000 do him? If he can take his credit card one evening, he took his credit card $28,000. Do you know how much interest the bank will charge on the credit card and buy tickets? When we were going to Doha, just last year Doha, he had to buy 3 tickets. So people should give us a break on that.
They should give you a break. That has been a very interesting conversation. Last one, he has asked Nanado to investigate the GAA. He wants Nanado to investigate the GAA.
That's a vague statement. Investigate GAA on what? Investigate GAA on what?
Maybe on your activities or maybe your alleged maybe malfeasance.
Malfeasance on what? Is it on athlete selection? Is it on what? In any way, in any case, FOG, everything is transparent. we do every year, we do auditing. So I can show you our audit account from 2010 to date. Our everything, we go to RWF, whatever the RWF send us, we report back to them. They have our document to cover our every activity. So, I mean, we are not afraid of investigations. We are being investigated every day by you guys, the media. Sometimes they get woeful wrong. So for investigation, if the government want to investigate, our doors are open. Nobody's afraid of investigation because we don't do anything untoward here. Whatever we do here, we have documents to cover it. Whatever we do here, we do it legitimately. In terms of funding of everything, our selection policy is as transparent as anything. So if you say investigation for what have we done, what to investigate?
Let's wrap up the conversation. You have predicted post-elections, politicians will need 4 months, about 4 months to settle. Well, there seems to be the likelihood of a continuity of government. What would you say this will impact the funding of federations? I think there's much of a stability for the new government.
But it will be much easier and quicker. But it will still be within that time because looking at when the appointment will be done after 7th January, and when the vetting will be done, when the ministry will go to the ministry and settle down to have their own policies. I know budget for the first quarter was approved some few months ago, but the ministers and the deputy ministers need to settle down, and I don't think it will take less than 3 months for that to happen. So that statement is still I should stand by that statement. Yes, it's still very relevant, and it's something that Federation will need to look up to and to manage before the ministers settle down, so that we can go for support. I'm not sure it will take less than 3 months for the minister to be fully in charge of the ministries.
Would you want Isiama to continue?
Whatever the government, whatever the sitting president asks us to do, we'll do it.
Now your last words.
Just want to show Ghanaians that in this current administration led by Professor Dodo, transparency is the key word. Honesty and to maintain the dignity of the association and its members is what we are here for. We don't cheat, especially dealing with athletes. You can ask all the athletes. In terms of fairness, equity, and fair play, we give everybody the same level field. We give everybody the same qualifiers to qualify for anybody. So in this current administration, integrity, fairness, and equity is the cardinal principle at which we operate, and we always account for every single penny that we spend. I know we will be among a very few federations who open their accounts to public or private auditors to audit our accounts every year. We will start in 2020 auditing as early as next year, January. Anybody at all who wants to come and see those documents are there. We can produce all the 10 years from 2010 to 2019 audit reports. We have them.
Thank you very much.
You.
You want another to investigate the GA?
That's a vague statement. Investigate GA on what? Investigate GA on what?
Maybe on your activities, or maybe your alleged maybe malfeasance.
Malfeasance on what? Is it on athlete selection? Is it on what? In any way, in any case, FOG, our everything is transparent. We do every year, we do auditing. So I can show you our audit account from 2010 to date. Our everything, we go to RWF, whatever the RWF send us, we report back to them. They have our document to cover our every activity. So, I mean, we are not afraid of investigations. We are being investigated every day by you guys, the media. Sometimes they get woeful wrong. So for investigation, if the government want to investigate, our doors are open. Nobody's afraid of investigation because we don't do anything untoward here. Whatever we do here, we have documents to cover it. Whatever we do here, we do it legitimately. in terms of funding for everything. Our selection policy is as transparent as anything. So if you say investigation for what have we done, what to investigate?
Let's wrap up the conversation. You have predicted post-elections, politicians will need 4 months, about 4 months to settle. Well, there seems to be the likelihood of a continuity of government. What would you say this will impact the funding of federations? I think there's much of a stability for the new government.
But it will be much easier and quicker. To make easier, but it will still be within that time because looking at when the appointment will be done after 7th January, and when the vetting will be done, when the ministry will go to the ministry and settle down to have their own policies. I know budget for the first quarter was approved some few months ago, but the ministers and the deputy ministers need to settle down, and I don't think it will take less than 3 months for that to happen. So that statement is still I should stand by that statement. Yes, it's still very relevant, and it's something that Federation will need to look up to and to manage before the ministers settle down, so that we can go for support. I'm not sure it will take less than 3 months for the minister to be fully in charge of the ministries.
Would you want Isiama to continue?
Whatever the government, whatever the sitting president asks us to do, we'll do it.
Now your last words.
Just want to show Ghanaians that in this current administration led by Professor Dodo, transparency is the key word. Honesty and to maintain the dignity of the association and its members is what we are here for. We don't cheat, especially dealing with athletes. You can ask all the athletes. In terms of fairness, equity, and fair play, we give everybody the same level field. We give everybody the same qualifiers to qualify for anybody. So in this current administration, integrity, fairness, and equity is the cardinal principle at which we operate, and we always account for every single penny that we spend. I know we will be among a very few federations who open their accounts to public or private auditors to audit our accounts every year. We will start in 2020 auditing as early as next year, January. Anybody at all who wants to come and see those documents are there. We can produce all the 10 years from 2010 to 2019 audit reports. We have them.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.